Hello and welcome to another episode of Cinema Savvy. And like last time, I almost dropped the word news because I'm so used to doing the intro for that. It's myself, George, and Chris, and tonight we are bringing you our not technically our first video for The Last Jedi, because we have a whole playlist on there, which I'm just, casually dropping there for you to go and have a look before next week. We usually do a Star Wars month. We've done the last 2 years since this channel's been a thing. And we're not going to lie, we've run out of ideas. Not that we've run out of ideas, because we've got a lot of videos prepped, but we can't dedicate an entire month to it, not this time round. But we're going to kick off like the other times with a couple of lists. And lists are good fun. They are great. And if you haven't guessed by the description, we are doing top 10 actors. No, just 10 actors we want to see in a Star Wars film. Not the top actors. There's no Daniel Day-Lewis. Well, maybe there is, I don't know. But these are people that we want to see in Star Wars. And there's many reasons why. Me and you're going to talk through it. We have been sent 5 by Tate, which we're going to say at the end. He is back from Austria. So we're hoping he's on some videos this week and obviously for the next couple of weeks. But what we will be doing is a couple of Star Wars videos. We've got the usuals, predictions video for The Last Jedi, a review, a spoiler review, maybe a week after the film or something. We haven't got that figured out, but we do some other content coming out. So this is kind of our first video. It basically is a Star Wars month, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
it is,
we're going to start describing it as it. And as ever, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. I'm slightly disappointed you didn't open the video with a hello there. It's always good to get a sneaky little hello in there in with every Star Wars thing. But yeah, no, I mean, these lists are always just a good way to get back into the swing of things with Star Wars. We're always in the swing of things with Star Wars. But as you said, I mean, we've reviewed the movies, we've done Battle of the Brackets before, and we will have a Battle of the Brackets again, probably for Star Wars, hopefully this month at some point. And like the lists are just a good way. It's like a good like discussion starter, conversation starter, and we were mining what we hadn't done top 10 lists of, so we settled on actors. You actually came up with all the content ideas I think for this month so far, so fair play on that one. As you said, we're going to do honorable mentions before number 1, so should we get into the lists?
Yeah, let's kickstart. Shall I go first for my 5th? Yeah. So it's not a top 10 as in 10, 9, 8 to 1. It's like our old school ones. It's 5 each. We've each got one, but it's just we hope maybe 10 different people. Yeah. Maybe there's a crossover, which we don't know yet. But I'm going to commence with a controversial opinion. My 5th on the list is none other than Andy Serkis.
Okay.
Because we know he is Supreme Leader Snoke, and we know he is doing motion capture. But one of my favorite Andy Serkis roles is him in King Kong as the cook. In The Prestige, he is great, but everyone forgets he's in The Prestige because it's his face, because he's not motion captured as someone next to David Bowie. It's actually him. I really think Andy Serkis has the ability to pull off a second character. And I mean, I'm not saying chuck him in episode 9 or anything like that. I'm saying that the Star Wars universe, he could suit being in it. I don't know what, but he is such a fantastic actor where he can do 2 performances in the same universe. And I think I would love to see him like just in a normal, not normal makeup, but just see him as himself. Even though I don't know, you know what I mean? It's such a weird one, but
the thing is, he's an actor with so much range, isn't he? I mean, he can do comedy, so he could be like a funny little side character. He can do intense. He can do serious. He can do dramatic. You could throw him into anything. He's like a chameleon. And I guarantee, like, just in terms of like the motion capture side, Star Wars are going to keep him on for a long time, like they did with Avengers, didn't they? I think he worked with the Hulk and Mark Ruffalo with the Avengers 1.
Yeah, he's
been working behind the scenes with his menagerie or whatever it's called.
I was going to say, he set up his production company. Smart though, because everyone wants to go to them for motion capture gear, and their boss is none other than Andy Serkis, who probably like pickpockets the projects that he really wants to be like, let me be in that one. And I can imagine that, but yeah, he's going to be helping backstage. You just know that. I mean, obviously the film's out, but that shot of Snoke in the new trailer, I think that sold everybody on a Snoke this time round, because the hologram was a hologram. But I really want to see him in a Star Wars film, and if he could do anything. Like I said, he's a chameleon, but he is on my list.
But I mean, it's been done before, hasn't it? With like Lord of the Rings, like if you look at John Rhys Davis played Gimli and Treebeard in that same trilogy, like and with motion capture, like you can do anything and then put him in live action. I'm guessing that was your cheat pick, because before we went live, you mentioned that there was a cheat. Yeah, okay. So speaking with an actor with range, my number 5 pick is James McAvoy. I mean, I still haven't seen the film yet, but Guy did a film called Split where he plays a guy with 26 different personalities, each one unique. He's one of my favorite actors working in the business today. Even if he's in a bad movie, he tends to be great in it. For example, wasn't a big fan of the film, wanted or Atomic Blonde, but he was great in it. Even back in the days of Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe when he was starting out, but obviously more prominently Charles Xavier in the X-Men films. He's really an actor that can do no wrong. And like Andy Serkis, the guy's just so versatile. You could throw him into anything. He could be a villain. He could be a bounty hunter. He could be, you know, like a low-level street kind of thug, or he could be someone higher up. Hell, he could probably even be a Jedi if you ever did get that far. He's just an actor that's just great in everything I've seen him in, and I think he'd be really at home in the Star Wars universe. And I don't think like he's not one of those actors where, although you go like, that's James McAvoy, I think he could disappear into a character if you give him the chance.
Yeah, I mean, James McAvoy, he is going back to, I think I first remember in Lion the Witch, the Wardrobe.
Yeah, Mr. Tumnus.
If you look at everything he's done, you know, even before that, Band of Brothers, I know it was one episode, but he has showed range, and I think as he's matured with age, I wouldn't say his acting has improved, not as a bad way, but he was so versatile from the get-go that you kind of always forget how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's starting, now that, not the wheels of come off X-Men, because I think he's in the next one, he's getting them projects in as well as doing X-Men, so it's helping. I mean, I haven't seen Split yet, but I will be watching it before the next one comes out, because I think Glass and Split are now a part of a crossover trilogy bonanza. Shyamalan, he's Shyamalan his own series.
Yeah, it's with Unbreakable, isn't it? I think is his second movie. As I said, I haven't watched it yet, so I'm waiting till I watch Unbreakable first, then watch Split, and then Glass. But yeah, McAvoy's my number 5 pick.
Speaking of X-Men, in my favorite X-Men films, First Class, and there's a villain who doesn't do the EE adverts, and it's not Kevin Spacey.
You got my Kevin Bacon?
Kevin Bacon. I knew I was going to slip. Oh god. Do you remember Azazel?
Yes. Oh, yes. I can't remember that. He's that
Jason
actor.
Fleming.
There you go.
Jason Fleming is an actor who like you said, you know the face, but it's hard to put the name to. And whenever I've seen him in stuff, he is great. And if you just look at him, there's a Star Wars vibe to him. And I mean, I know I said Andy Serkis is an incredible actor. That's me seeing him as the incredible actor that can do any role. Jason Fleming looks like he belongs in the Star Wars universe, and this could be anything from some kind of villainous sort of military person, like First Order. You know, we're saying people that should be in Star Wars. I'm not gonna lie. This is specific. These can range, because some of my picks are gonna be differentiate. Like I could see Jason Fleming as a villain in like Empire or something like that. But some of my picks are gonna be like, I'd love to see these in the new trilogy as a leading role. The Rian Johnson trilogy, I guess we could say. And
he's no stranger to makeup as well, is he? Like you talked about Azazel, he played Mr. Hyde in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I think he's played some other guys in makeups before in some of his roles, or it can just be himself on camera.
Yeah, he's done so much, and he does appear in a lot of Matthew Vaughn films. And I've said a year ago, go back to one of our videos, I did put Matthew Vaughn as my number 1 pick to direct a Star Wars film. I think we did.
Yeah.
But if you look at Jason Fleming, you think he's some guy that, you know, not everybody in Star Wars has to be a big name to fit into the world. When you look when Episode 8 came out, sorry, 7, when the cast came out, the biggest names in that cast were Andy Serkis, for obvious reasons, and Oscar Isaac, who isn't even like a big star in himself. He's just a fantastic actor. And I think Jason Fleming could be someone that would really, you know, make a statement with Star Wars, be this guy that everybody recognizes, or have this cult film to himself. I think he can nail it in a villainous role. A bit like a Krennic, that I could picture him coming in for a film. But then again, I could see him as some kind of scumbag, smuggler, you know, like under the radar, a bit like, I don't know, but I think he's someone that it's such an outwing option that I think he'd be brilliant. But he was also starting to direct films now as well. It's just a name that I've always seen for a couple of years, and I thought, you know, I really think that he could be in this universe.
I think a running theme with a lot of my picks, and probably your picks as well, is like that chameleon quality that we talked about, like someone who's got so much range they can pretty much do anything, because that's kind of what you want with Star Wars, really, isn't it? So I should also say, I should have said this at the beginning, that all my top 5 picks at least are all British actors. It's nothing against American actors. I've got a couple of American actors who are in my honorable mentions list, but like to me, Star Wars has always been rooted in that British talent as well. Like if you look at the old ones, even with the new ones. So that's why I've gone with that. But my number 4 pick is, and I hope he's not going to come up later on your list, is Gary Oldman.
He is someone that I really thought about, and I thought I've got fingers crossed that he's going to be in Chris's list.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I would give it to you first.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. The guy's been in everything. He's been in big franchises. He's been in smaller films. Obviously, the Dark Knight trilogy. But he's again one of those actors that you can throw him behind makeup. Look at his next movie that's coming out, The Darkest Hour. The guy's unrecognizable. He is willing to do that. I think in the second Silence of the Lambs film, Hannibal, he was behind makeup as well and was like this really disturbing character. So you could literally go absolutely nuts with him. And he's an actor that can be serious. If you look at the Dark Knight trilogy or in the Harry Potter films, for example, or he can be a great character actor and be like really ridiculous and wacky and memorable, like Fifth Element, where he plays the villain. Even in Leon, the Professional, he's really over the top in that regard. And oh God, there was another one, True Romance, where he plays this kind of Rasta kind of gangster guy. The guy can just disappear into any single role, and let's be honest, the guy, I mean, he doesn't have an Oscar, does he? This is going to be his Oscar nod.
He should get it.
Yeah,
he should get it. He should have won it for Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, which was, you know, Gary Oldman like playing a 70-year-old. Well,
yeah,
it wasn't a Gary Oldman performance, but it was that I've never seen him that sort of laid. Oh,
yeah.
I can't even. That's the wrong way of doing it. But Gary Oldman is amazing in whatever he does. I struggle to think of terrible films that he's done that he himself is terrible in.
Yeah.
And maybe there is one or two out there. I don't know. But yeah, and even Planet of the Apes, like, it wasn't his best film. And his character wasn't as good as we wished. However, the best, to me, acting moment of that film was when he's scrolling on the iPad and sees the pictures of his dead family for the first time in however many years. And that's one of the most powerful moments of that film. And that is Gary Oldman on his own with the camera on him. He should be in Star Wars. Of course he should be.
The thing is, he's not picky with his projects, is he? Like, you get some actors that stay away from these big blockbuster movies because it's like, oh, I'm going to be typecast or I'm going to be part of the studio machine. But he's done Apes, which, you know, we'd say it's very different for most studio films, but it's a studio film nonetheless. Harry Potter, he could absolutely do Star Wars. I'd love to see him in there. Not sure what character he'd play, but that's good when you've got an actor where they could throw him in anywhere. And I'm sure it'd be great.
Definitely. Speaking of actors who I don't know they could play, I've gone for a pick, a young actor who has surprised me in everything. Not surprised me, that's the wrong word. He's been great in everything I've seen him, and he was even the best thing about one of the worst superhero films in existence. Michael B. Jordan, not the basketball player, the actor, obviously. Black Panther's out next year, and he's playing the villain in it. And it's been directed by Ryan Coogler, who obviously did Fruitvale Station, which is an absolutely incredible film, very touching as well. He also did Creed, which Michael B. Jordan is in Creed, so he's no stranger to franchises these days. But I think there's that Donald Glover. They always compare the two of them, and I remember when I'd never finished. Why have I forgot the TV show? The Wire. I never finished The Wire, but from the episode I saw, it was young Michael B. Jordan. He was great in that, and even Fantastic, he was one of the best things about it. You know, you could tell that he was like, okay, I really want to get another chance at a superhero film. Okay, he's playing the villain of Black Panther, but it's the progress. But I want to see him in Star Wars. There's that sort of rogue smuggler vibe about him that anyone could see. I think he's versatile enough to make an impact. I'm trying not to compare him to Donald Glover because people are getting mixed up, which is annoying. We've already got Donald Glover in a Star Wars film, but I think if you see what he's like in Creed, and then, I mean, Black Panther, he's going to have, you know, the African accent. He's versatile. I love the accents, and I think he could be Star Wars. I think he'd be a good, I wouldn't say the lead, but the sort of the sidekick to a lead character.
Yeah.
For a new trilogy. Hint to where I'm going next.
Yeah, if we're talking about like upcoming talent, I mean, can we still call him upcoming talent? Like, the guy's already talented as it is, in my opinion. Fruitvale Station, Creed, as you said, Creed, I've got on record to say it's my favorite soft reboot of any film, and I pretty much look forward to any single movie that comes out now. Even in Fantastic, like, the guy did as good a job as he could with the material he had. Yeah, I'd love to see. I don't really have much else to say in that respect, to be honest. I'd love to see him in there somewhere.
It's weird doing these lists because we don't normally stream lists. We've always done like MP3s, but
Yeah,
this is so like off the bat. It is weird. It's going to be shorter than most of our streams, which
yeah.
is it's nothing wrong with that. But I think our big picks what we're going to talk about. But
Mm.
you've still got your number three.
Yeah, my number three. So, in all honesty, I probably won't be talking about this pick as much as the other ones, purely because I haven't seen many films that this actor has been in. But she's no stranger to the Disney family before, and that is Tilda Swinton. Um, I mean, she's on record like she's gender fluid. She's a big proponent of that, but she's got such a unique look to her and style with her acting. I mean, I've seen her in most recently Doctor Strange as the Ancient One, and going back many years now to I think like 2005 with the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe as the White Witch. She's just, I mean, she's won countless she's got an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, Golden Globes, BAFTA, left, right, and center. Phenomenally talented actress. And she's just someone that's, because of that unique look, like I could see her in the Star Wars universe, and that's not like a negative thing against her, but like she's a great actress to go along with that. And I think different to like the other actors where we said like there can be an absolute chameleon, she would have to be a very specific role in Star Wars. Maybe she could play a Sith. Maybe she could play an older Asajj Ventress. I don't know. This is just me spitballing right now, but I could see that kind of ethereal, strange, haunting quality to a Star Wars character. I think it'd be really different.
Yeah, and she's one of those because she's so versatile. I hope you keep saying that.
Yeah.
She's great in everything. I mean, there was talk of her doing a David Bowie
Yeah.
David Bowie biopic. Wow, that's a little tongue twister in itself, isn't it? I still want to see that. I mean, there was a massive drama about obviously Doctor Strange last year about the whitewashing and stuff, which I don't think it was that bad. I'm going to get shot for having that opinion, but I think she's an excellent actress that can do any role given to her, and I think she would easily fit into something. She can play anything which suits a film like this, where she could be anyone, a lead, a villain, anything
Senator,
important.
anything you like.
Yeah, and you just know that she's going to nail it, given obviously that there's a decent script and stuff for her.
Yeah, agreed.
My number two is the most boring, easy pick you could ever have gone for in a Star Wars film. There were petitions for this man to be in the new trilogy. There was rumors he was going to be in this, as in the current trilogy, episode 7, 8, and 9, not the next one. Of course, it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
I tried to stay away from him on my list, but I thought it'd be a popular choice.
Yeah, it's so easy to say it, but he can do anything. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the Sherlock TV show. I think a lot of people know this. He is great. He's great as Doctor Strange, given that he's playing Benedict. Given that he's playing Sherlock with an American accent. He varies in his roles, but I think he was born to play Grand Admiral.
Yeah.
The rumors were obviously the film got announced, episode 7. Do you remember all the old school rumors? Oh my God, it's going to be Thrawn. It's going to be J.J. Abrams, and he's going to do Benedict Cumberbatch because he's been Khan. And there's the talk of Benedict Cumberbatch being stars. Oh my God, he's going to cameo in the Star Wars. No, he's not. But everybody wants him in Star Wars, and there's a reason why they do, and that he's a natural fit. But Grand Admiral Thrawn, speaking of Star Wars Rebels, season 4's been disappointing, but it's finishing, and Thrawn's probably going to die at the end of season 4 because it's Star Wars. They're not going to keep a villain that big who isn't in the films. I would love to see a Thrawn film. They made a book They wrote a book this year, which I didn't read all of because I just didn't finish it. It was good. I just didn't get around to finishing it and just couldn't be bothered to restart reading it. And the whole time I sat there thinking, I'm reading this, this is Benedict Cumberbatch. That Lars Mikkelsen voices him in the TV show, which is great, but Cumberbatch can do the same thing. I just really want him to come to the big screen as not as Cumberbatch, as Thrawn. It's easy choice. It's a boring choice, but to me, it's one of the right choices. But I will be very surprised if he doesn't ever make it into Star Wars. Even if there's like a little cameo in 9 of him being a stormtrooper, you know that one day he will be in a Star Wars film.
Yeah.
He's in the Disney family now as well.
Doctor Strange, yeah.
Doctor Strange, is he doing something animated soon, or has he already done something animated? I can't remember.
No, I can't remember either. But
no, I was getting mixed up with Smaug. Sorry.
I mean, speaking of that, like he does motion capture as well. Like he could absolutely do that. I know that was kind of different. They were using that as more of a frame of reference for when they come to do the character, and not quite as like Andy Serkis, where the actual motion.
Thrawn could be makeup. I think Thrawn could be makeup.
Yeah, definitely. If you're doing Thrawn, I'd hate to. I mean, I talked about this with Justice League. I talked about this with The Hobbit. I hate to see like a fully CGI villain when you could easily do it with makeup. There's more of a presence there if it's actually in makeup. And I mean, he just has the face, a little bit of like cheekbone, kind of like Maleficent with Angelina Jolie, and you've got the character. You mentioned, what did you say, Lars Mikkelsen? Is that?
Yeah, Mads' brother, who was in Sherlock as well.
Visually on screen for the character wouldn't work. Like him in real life, no matter how much makeup you do, wouldn't work for the character. It'd be nice continuity to have with the voice with the animated show. But I mean, as you said, you look at the character, even when the books originally came out, Thrawn, you look at it, it's Cumberbatch. It absolutely is. It's a safe choice because it seems like Cumberbatch is now always that guy that you go to play your villain character, whether it's the voice of Smaug, whether it's, I mean, he's going to be doing the voice of Shere Khan in Andy Serkis's new Jungle Book movie, Khan, but he's the right choice. Just because he's a safe choice doesn't mean he's a bad choice, because he could absolutely knock that character out of the park. But I do really want a Thrawn trilogy now with the movies, and I know where they've like shuffled the character around now in the new canon that probably won't be doable. But
there's a place in canon to show a film or a live action TV series. I think he'll die at the end of Rebels, this series. For anyone that doesn't watch Star Wars Rebels, Thrawn's the best thing about it. He's in season 3, and he will be in most of 4, I assume. But the way he kind of emerges already as the Grand Admiral, so there's a whole hint of backstory if they want to go for the prequel route. Sorry, someone's commented with Tobias Arrested Development to play Thrawn.
Brinsley is always in with the comments. I love
the fact that Tobias just blew himself as well.
He joins the Blue Man Group, doesn't he? Is that the show? Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that I just blew myself to range. I mean, we kind of Jeffrey Tambor given recent news, obviously, but we definitely couldn't have Tobias from Arrested Development. I would love to see that. Yes.
Can we do like a separate list now of like joke picks that we want to see in a Star Wars movie?
Maybe we can make that a double feature with the one of our other videos coming up.
Yes.
Hints, irrelevant sort of Star Wars characters. What we can do there. Yeah, Cumberbatch, like safe but right.
Right, we're on to my number 2 pick now, and this is probably my safest one of the lot. I didn't know if this guy would be on your list. The guy who was touted for Bond for a long time, it's Idris Elba.
No, I didn't actually think.
This guy, like, tell me this guy wouldn't be awesome in Star Wars. I could literally just like do a mic drop after that. This guy is imposing. He can do dramatic roles. He's again Disney family with Heimdall. And he will probably take on any project because he did Dark Tower this year, which was awful. I don't know why he would have chose a project like that. But I mean, this guy's just got talent written all over him. I mean, he did that Netflix movie, which I still haven't watched actually from last year, which was meant to be amazing. Yeah, again, like you could see him as like a kind of action lead. Like he could be not like a new Han Solo kind of character, but he has that roguish quality about him. Like obviously there was a reason people wanted him for Bond and could see him in that role. Or he could just be like a badass like rogue Jedi, like a kind of Quinlan Vos kind of character, you know, if we're going for like characters in the canon, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't really know what else I can say. I've seen him in loads of things. Like he's got that voice, like he played Shere Khan in the Jungle Book. So if it was just his voice, but he's an actor you want to see on camera. You want to get him in the universe somewhere.
Even when he was in Star Trek, he was the one shot of him talking to the camera as a human. I mean, we know he did the makeup as well, but even when he did the human aspect of that was really good. I love Idris Elba. I didn't think of him. I won't lie, but he can do anything. He really can. He's not the versatile well everyone else, but there's a place for him in like every film that's ever been made. Even so, like I mean, he's Heimdall, but you know, yes, he plays him amazingly, and you could chuck him in a film and it'd be there for something. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to think of a random film. Like if you say, oh yeah, he'd be in John Wick 3, you'd be like, wow, that's a great suit. That would work. Say, oh, we want him in I'm just trying to look at my shelf. We want him in an X-Men film. Like, yeah, there's probably an amazing villain out there for him. But Star Wars it's simple, and I think he could do it. And he was also in The Wire with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, but like Cumberbatch as well. Like your that was your number 3 pick, right? Cumberbatch.
Number two.
Number 2. Sorry, yeah, 'cause you went first. He's one of those actors where you see him in something and you go, "That's Cumberbatch" or "That's Idris Elba," and it's difficult to create a character out of it. But that doesn't detract from his performance at all. Like he'd be right there. Like some people say Heimdall, I'm like Idris Elba constantly. He's like that Tom Cruise quality that I always talk about with actors. He's kind of got that now, but that's still not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not. Right. So we're on to number 1 already. This might be one of our shortest. That's 25 minutes actually. It's not
We've
too
got
bad.
to do
Honorable
mentions.
mentions.
Yeah.
Right. So we said we'd list Tate's list of 5. We don't know the order to it, but we're going to go Tate's 5. Charlize Theron, who is Charlize Theron, should be amazing. Clive Owen, very right wing, not right wing, like very off spread choice. Who would
He's
be
dropped off the radar a bit now,
Yeah.
hasn't he? Like did Children of Men, and then what? I don't know what else he's done
Did
after
do a
that.
TV show on HBO like a year or 2 ago that
May have done, yeah.
Sin
I mean,
City
he's a
and-
great actor, but don't get me wrong. But I mean, he's
it was the sort of thing that would work. He's like a Woody Harrelson, isn't he? Like that role. Ben Kingsley, that is
he was on my list for honorable mentions.
Ben Kingsley is amazing. Jake Gyllenhaal, of course, he may be the new Batman, but he'd be like a General Hux just off the bat, like mental. Sorry, I can't pronounce the name. Shizing Blader in 2049 is the AI that he's in love with. Spoiler. Aina Duamas.
Yeah. That's as close as we're going to get, I'm afraid, because I'm no good at pronouncing that either.
Yeah, if Tay was here, I'm sure he'd pronounce it for us instead. I'm just going to blame him. But it's similar to ours. There's an obvious one like a Theron, but then there's that wide choice like Clive Owen that you didn't expect. Then there's your Ben Kingsley choice you see straight away fitting in, and then the other guys. It's like I said, Star Wars. So it's such a crazy concept, and like honorable mentions, like one of mine. I said to you earlier. I had Pee Wee Herman. I don't even want to get his name. But
Paul Rubin.
Paul Rubin, you know, he would make an amazing protocol droid.
And I swear, like I heard this somewhere, I think he did the voice of the droid in the American Star Tours, I think it was called, like the hologram, and you got the little droid at the front of the screen and like your seats move. I swear he did the voice to that when that originally came out. I'll have to check that though.
Probably, like he could suit it, and you can imagine him doing it as well. Another one of my honorable mentions was Eva Green. Because yes, there's no role that she can't do well. She can give her terrible films, and she's still the best thing about them. 300.
They've changed the canon now, and you can't really do young Luke and everything like that. I could have seen her playing a Mara Jade kind of character.
I want her to play Eva Green. I'm joking. She can play anyone. I mean, she's Tim Burton's missus now, which means that she'll be in every single one of his. Well, she's in Dumbo, isn't she? That's coming out next.
She's in Dumbo. Yeah, she was in Miss Peregrine. Was she in one before that as well? Dark Shadows.
Yes. Cool. Was Dark Shadows Tim Burton?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Like she's if you're with Burton, then you know you're going to do some crazy stuff. But I can see her easily fitting in Star Wars. I mean. She didn't do no. Why don't I got mixed up for a second with someone else? Obviously Casino Royale's like her like showpiece for me. Obviously as a Bond fan and stuff like that. But look at some of her other work that she's done, then you just know she can pull out of the hat. There's that sort of almost like the Kate Blanchett and Thor thing that it would work. You wouldn't expect it, but you know deep down it would.
It's the voice as well. Like you could imagine that. Like I mentioned the Saj Ventress earlier. Actually, probably Eva Green's a better fit for that character if they ever bring her to the big screen. Some kind of bounty on someone who's got that kind of sex appeal with the character as well, like very Catwoman kind of voice, like that alluring, like purring voice. I could see that working for some kind of villain character. I don't think she could play a good guy. I think she'd have to play someone.
She'd be wasted as a good guy, I think.
Yeah, you've got to go bad guy with Eva Green,
or like all out there, like top hierarchy villain.
I've got 3 honorable mentions if you want me to
go yours
really quickly. You mentioned General Hux earlier. What better way to go for his dad, Brendan Gleeson? Doesn't necessarily have to play General Hux's dad in the movies, but again, versatile actor. He played Mad Eye Moody, if I'm remembering correctly, right? Guy's tremendous actor, whether he's doing like a quirky character actor like that or dramatic role. Mark Strong, the go-to guy who you usually go to for an average movie to play a villain. Doesn't necessarily have to be an average movie. Kick-Ass, love that movie. He's great in that movie. And can play a good guy too. Much better when he's a villain. And Ian McShane. Because he's Ian fucking McShane. There we go.
Is this your John Wick crossover? Like,
Yeah.
my number one's not Keanu Reeves before we get into that, but Ian McShane, I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean, like he was actually great as Blackbeard. If anyone's seen Sexy Beasts, Ben Kingsley's in that as well. Absolutely incredible, and Ian McShane is the overarching villain of that film, and he's terrifying in that as well. But he's got that.
Willingly do one episode of Game of Thrones because why not?
What was his words? Didn't he spoil John? I mean, everyone knew Jon Snow's back, but
yeah, he spoiled.
What was his words? He spoiled it, and he's there like, "What does it matter anyway? This show's just tits and dragons." Like,
yeah.
And all these fans were getting all angry, and he's there like, "But you know, it's true."
Like, if he was part of Star Wars, though, like he would have to remain silent. He couldn't spoil that. But
yeah, I'd be interested to see if he attempts it. But no, Ian McShane would be great. Actually, now I think of it.
On to our number one picks now, then, aren't we?
My number one pick is an actor who kind of, I won't say burst onto the scene, but he's been seen so sporadically in Hollywood that there's that unknown quantity to him. And he was in one superhero film as a villain, which I think is supremely underrated as that villain. But to me, he's in one of my favorite films of all time called Rush. It is Daniel Bruhl, purely based on his performance as Niki Lauda. If anyone knows the story of Rush, I'd very much recommend that. I'm a massive F1 fan, I know, but it's also got Thor in it, so now all the girls are going to want to run and watch it. It's a story of two F1 drivers who were based off real life James Hunt and Niki Lauda, who is just them two for the title. And I'm not going to spoil the film, but Daniel Bruhl is one of the best things about this film. He was that year's Oscar shun-off Best Supporting Actor. There was actually a big debacle about that. He got nominated for the BAFTA, I think, but he transformed into this role. And even if you go out to Inglourious Bastards, because he's the German soldier that's just had the kid in the bar scene.
No,
he's
the guy at the film premiere.
Oh no, of course he's. Sorry, no, I got that mixed up, didn't I? Yes, he is the German sniper who's in love with the Jew, and it doesn't end well for him. But he still shoots her in the back. Does he? Yes, he does. Sorry, how did I get Inglourious mixed up then? That's just thinking of Fassbender. Even though he's not the one with the baby, he just shoots someone else.
I know who you meant.
Yeah, but Daniel Bruhl is purely based off Rush. There's something about him. There's that rogue charm about him that I see him as a leading actor that could take on 3 films. And okay, we don't know what the next trilogy is going to be, but you could see him leading a film. And if you look at Star Wars, they never go for the obvious picks, and we've said that before, but they honestly don't. Who's your leading trio? I mean, if you look at the original 77, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill, they're unknowns. But it could have been, what's the famous 3? It was there was another 3 basically who would have played them, but they wouldn't fly in from America. I think one of them was Thingy Bob. Why do I always forget his name? Who was the King George? Not King George. Who was the king in the not Lion King? What's his name? The one who everyone does the impersonations of that was in Batman Returns. I've forgotten his name. I'm going to kill myself over it.
The king in Batman Returns with the Penguin and Catwoman?
Yeah, the building. He's like the chairman of the company.
Oh, Christopher Walken.
There we go. I feel disgusted.
Really?
You know,
who was he going to play?
I don't even know. I'm talking about Christopher Walken. I've completely forgot about why I was talking about Christopher Walken in the first place.
I don't know who you're talking about right now.
I'm talking about Daniel. I don't know. How did I get to Christopher Walken?
Sorry.
I was he was almost cast as Han Solo, basically. But what I'm saying is that that's so irrelevant.
Very, very different film. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, there's 3. I forgot the other 2. I'm not going to try and remember them now. Don't get me wrong, I'm not remembering them now.
I guess I'll take Christopher Walken off my joke picks for the Star Wars actors then. I am not worthy. If
they'd have paid for that flight to London, he would have been Han Solo. Let that sink in. But Daniel Bruhl, if you look at him, look at any of his films, he's got some kind of like hunger in his like performances that I think he's got the right mentality to lead a Star Wars film. It wouldn't be your Jedi, that sort of kind, but there's something about him where I see Star Wars, I see a lead actor, and I could see him nailing the role and really hitting his A game. And you could see them putting a cast around him. Yeah.
He's in all of his performances. I mean, I've seen him in the 3 that you mentioned. I haven't seen any of his other films. But you're right. Like I think you said like he has that roguish charm to him or whatever you said. But every role I've seen him in, there's like that slightly uncomfortable quality to him. Like even if he's playing a good guy, there's something not quite right there. Like he'll lull you in with like his charm and his personality, but then there's like an underlying thing there. And if you could bring that to Star Wars, that could be like a very, very interesting character. And you're right, like I loved him in Civil War. Like a lot of people were really let down by the villain in that movie.
I think he was great. He wasn't trying to destroy the world. He was literally just, his end game was just to separate two people from like friendship, and he won. He won, and but he could. Oh, he's in the Bourne films apparently as well. I really think he could get that A game. He's in the Disney family, but there's that something about him that, you know, even if he's a good guy, you question it. But when he's a bad guy, you still like him. But he's got the right mold, and he's top of my list. I want to see him headline that new Star Wars trilogy.
My number one pick is an actor I've always loved and has been in one of the most successful fantasy TV shows. One of my favorite characters in that. My number one pick is Charles Dance. Tell me you couldn't see this guy's like an Imperial leader. Like in the same vein as Tarkin, like Peter Cushing, like he could absolutely have that. And I would actually say, I mean, Cumberbatch is a much better fit for Thrawn, but if you wanted to go slightly older for the character, I know you couldn't. I think Charles Dance could do it too. When you see him in Game of Thrones, or really any role that he's in, but more specifically Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones, whenever he walks into a room, delivers a monologue, anything he does, the guy commands presence. Even if you don't like the character, you're still like oddly fixated with the character and what he has to say. Like in Game of Thrones, he's not necessarily a bad guy. He'll do whatever he can to protect his family, even if it means wiping out many people in a rival house. But then he has moments like those tender moments, like in season 2, where he's with Arya Stark and he's more of a father figure. He can play a role that has like so many different layers to it. And also he can do comedy as well. Like I love him in Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He plays the villain in that film. He's a very over theatrical character. Kind of like, I just mentioned it, Gary Oldman in Leon, very over the top quality to the character, but nevertheless great. Even in like Alien 3, best thing in that film, like he always plays unique characters that you want to see more of. I would love to see Charles Dance. He's an actor I just love to see in anything, but now that he's out of Game of Thrones, I'm looking for that next thing I want to see him in so he can still be around. And I think Star Wars would be a good fit for that.
So what he said about him commanding his presence, that he would take that spotlight away from whoever it's trying to shine on. And even with Game of Thrones, like that's the best, to me, that's the best example. It's the most recent, I guess we could say, of him as well. But, you know, it's his mannerisms, it's anything about him. And even when he's talking normally, you can tell he's handling a situation better than anyone else in the room. That's the character and the performance. But that second he sharpens his tongue, like, and he lingers on a word to embarrass them with, he would be like a sort of a Tarkin type. You could see him doing anything. But I want to see Charles Dance. Now you've said it, like I want to see Charles Dance in Star Wars.
Yeah, and oh god, where was I going to go with this? I was going to say something else about Charles Dance.
He might die. Like we might see the first Star Wars toilet for a character to die on, maybe, or something.
But even like I can see him fitting more of like an Imperial leader, as I said, Tarkin. But I mean, I'm not comparing the guy to Christopher Lee. Don't get me wrong, but like that Dooku quality to him,
the deep voice,
yeah, I could see something like that. Whether he'd play a Sith Lord or like a high up, you know, separatist kind of leader or something in that same vein as Dooku, I could see that. I think
maybe Dance's Snoke.
Maybe, who knows? That would be a twist and a half if that was the case. But,
it's like the opposite of Doctor Who's Regenerations.
Yeah, no, I'm quite happy with Andy Serkis. Let's keep Andy Serkis in these movies. But yeah, no, that finishes off my list.
Yeah, and together that's our 10 plus Tate's 5 and a couple of honourable mentions. As always, these lists are fun. That's what they are. They're just situations of what do you want to see in the stars from. Don't forget to comment. Let us know who you want to see in the stars from, because everyone's going to differentiate. One honourable mention I did forget to say is another than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because he can be in anything, and you know deep down that he would be amazing in Star Wars. If you give that man a gun and a cantina, play some muscle, don't know, bounty hunter called The Rock. Get in talks, Disney. Here's your box office draw. But anyway, that's me waffling on about The Rock. Jumanji's out next week. But no, that's our Star Wars list. And I guess with this, we don't know the order we're releasing it, but should we like drop a couple of the ideas? So we've said already we're doing a Last Jedi review, spoiler free, and a predictions video like we did last.
We should say as well, we're seeing it at the midnight that it's released here in the UK.
I guess what's best of saying is that we are going to be absolutely fucking knackered from next Monday to the Thursday. So we aren't actually going to be about. I haven't even thought about the news that week, but we don't know. The main thing is that we are all going, Tate included, we're going down to London, not that it's far from us anyway, for the IMAX double bill of Force Awakens. Chris is joyfully gleaming as he can show us his new poster for Force Awakens as well.
Yes.
And The Last Jedi at midnight. So we're going to be in London. There won't be a review at like 3 a.m. like there was last year. There will be one hopefully on the day because we're all seeing it multiple times. It's basically going to be, when are we all not watching it? Can we talk? So what it's going to be that week is we're going to pre-record our what's it called? Predictions. Because last year someone commented a spoiler on the stream, and I laughed. And I didn't think of it in the film, but it turned out that it was true. That Darth Vader, everyone died on Scarif, and Darth Vader killed all the rebels. That was the comment, and that was like 3 hours before the film came out over in England. And like you know, like to me with spoilers, I don't want any. I'm not going to read these comments. I've said that before, but I can forget little things before a film starts that I've read that's just, shit fan theory. But then when you see the shit like Marvel, when someone's about to die in Marvel films, like, well, he's on a 10-picture contract, that's out the window. I'm actually happy we're going to be pre-recording it, and we'll schedule an upload on the day, but don't expect us to reply to your messages. And if there's spoilers, it's not our fault. We're going to be in London not watching you. I'm waffling on with that. But we're going to be busy. We may have footage at the UK premiere. I cannot guarantee that because I would rather focus on getting my poster signed. Sorry, subscribers. We may be at that premiere. We will be. But this week, I guess we can say the other ones. We are going to be doing a list of our top 10, well, the best Star Wars characters, our favourites. To me, same thing always has been. And then, oh, that's so boring. They did about the brackets on that last year. So maybe that's boring, but you know what isn't boring? A roundtable discussion on our favourite irrelevant Star Wars characters. This is your Coleman Treebors, your Wat Tambers, your R5D4s, your Porkins, all these irrelevant people that everybody loves, that people have become memes. We want to have a roundtable discussion on that, so that should be up this week. That's one of our videos. There's your 3 list.
That's strictly for the geeks only, that one.
Yeah, if you don't know much about Star Wars, there's no point coming on because we're not going to be able to, give you directions and stuff. But that's going to happen, and we're really hoping there is a battle of the brackets. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what the battle of brackets will be about. Hopefully something Star Wars related. But at the minute, that's our Star Wars content for the next couple of weeks. But if we're dipping in and out of replying to stuff, that is likely because we are away in London. It's going to be insane, but we are seeing it before America again. That's the main thing, because you got Coco till January, so we take Star Wars a day early and confirmed Infinity War a week early. Yeah,
which is always good. I mean, we don't get many films early, do we? So it's nice when we get the big ones like Star Wars, even if it is just 24 hours before everyone else. But yeah, no, so a lot of content coming out. Check our Facebook and Twitter and Instagram for updates. We're going to be much more present on there now that we've worked all the kinks out with social media. Links to that are in the description down below. I'm also going to be continuing Star Wars reaction videos. George, you're like taking a leave of absence from the internet, comments, everything like that. I'm going to bite the bullet and watch some of the new TV spots that have come out for Star Wars, and I'll be on the reactions in the next couple of days. Probably do some tomorrow and Tuesday as well. So look out for those as well.
Definitely. And this has been our first Star Wars video. Thank you for listening, I guess. Like, care. Yes, do care. Please care. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know your favourite actors who you want to see in a Star Wars film. Who wouldn't you want to see in a Star Wars film? Anything you're looking forward to? I don't know, but stick with us. And if you're new to the channel, then welcome. Just nonsense filling at the end of episodes. This has been myself, George, and Chris. I'm not doing a Star Wars pun to finish this with, so
that'll do. Princely got comment at the stream, by the way. See you guys.